what could Rap Until Pro in this new version, how could it attempt to stop hip hop? What would it be doing like that?
Well, you see hip hop is unique in the sense of there's three major features, I think. There may be more, but three salient features about hip hop. First of all, it's created hip hop and black sports, by the way. It's created an overclass. The richest class of young black folks has ever existed on this planet in terms of material wealth, in terms of disposable income. You know, the icon of manhood in America today is the black athlete. He's both the threat and the icon. And what we have to understand is that the destruction of the Black Panther Party and organizations like the Black Panther Party led directly to the type of urban environment on the streets that we have today. The vacuum that created brought in a lot of young people who had no other organization, no organizations to really join. They have been decimated and destroyed and co-opted by the mid-early 70s. You know, so when they came along, they only had the images of the 60s and their mothers and their uncles and their fathers' records and stuff, and you know, and there was nothing in the urban areas for them. So they devised their own music, and it piggybacked off of the R&B and the music of the late 60s. Most of the early hip hop that you have, most of the early rap beats that you have, come from that genre. I mean, everybody done sampled J.B. to death. You see, everybody done sampled the Shy-Lights and Cameo to death. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is the destruction of the Black Panther Party and organizations like the Black Panther Party in the black community left a real serious vacuum as far as black youth were concerned. And the police stepped into that vacuum in a certain way. I mean, so it's very long and convoluted, but suffice it to say, it wasn't until 1970 that the New York City Police Department, 1971, the New York City Police Department had a deputy commissioner for propaganda. They developed the post, the deputy commissioner for public affairs. And he carried a badge, he had the same, he was a deputy police chief, he was a deputy commissioner. Why? Because at that point, in 1969 to 1971, the whole idea and the concept of law enforcement was that law enforcement was a brutal, racist institution that murdered and killed and sat on top of black folks. There was no credibility for cops in the black community. There was no credibility for law enforcement. So when Nixon came along to run for office, realizing there was no national police, he had to try to recapture that. And one of the things that they did to recapture that is they began to glorify police and began to denigrate all of those who resisted that police state. And this came out in terms of the Black Panther Party here in New York. I mean, there's a book coming out on the New York City Police Department in March, I believe. And a lot of you would probably read it. It's a very interesting book.
Who's it by?
It's by this guy named, what's his name? T.J. English. You know, and one of the things that he has researched is the auspices of the prosecutions, the political prosecutions of black folks in this community, namely the 21 case and other cases, because we've had a really racist law enforcement institution in this city that has evolved out of the ethnic politics in this city. You see, and relied on the disenfranchisement and marginalization of blacks and Latinos in this city.